Thank you for staying tuned to Breakfast Weekend on Impact Africa Television. Now, from tolerance and peace and how to strengthen all that in Nigeria, it's important for us to make money, don't you think? It's very, very important. And one side or one sector that many people are not really paying attention to on how to make money is through visual arts. Many people see art everywhere and they appreciate it. Maybe I can get one for myself. But you know, when you doodle, when you draw, you know, when you're absent-minded, did you know that you could actually make money from that? Well, we're all caught up with this gentleman a while ago, and they now discuss how you can make money or make profits out of visual arts. Enjoy.
Welcome. On this segment of Breakfast Weekend, we'll be talking about art, not just any art, but a very unique set of art, which is visual art. We'll be talking about how to make money going into visual art. Because if you look around you, you would agree with me that art is around you, is as much a part of living as breathing is. However, some set of artists have been able to make money from it, going into a unique aspect of it, which I mentioned earlier, visual art. We have one of such people with us here. His name is Ayode Abobari. He is a visual artist. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Visual art seems like an abstract form of art. What would you say constitutes as visual art?
Thank you very much. Visual art refers to those areas of art that are away from performing art. That is every aspect of art whereby you piece things together. You work with material ranging from drawing, painting, filmmaking, you know, because most of those terms over time get expanded, because from time to time people from one aspect of the art come to borrow from the visual arts. So pottery, craft. But pre-20th century, aspects like pottery, like interior decoration and craft were not defined as part of visual art. And here is why. Those days people believed that aspects of art like craft making and pottery and the likes are laborious, because what was defined as art then was paintings and painting and drawing, in the kind of art forms whereby the artist would sit in a studio and would have apprentices and would be commissioned either by government of the times and dignitaries to come and commission paintings. So that was why. But over time, aspect of art like craft making, pottery, interior designs and graphic designs came under the umbrella of what we define as visual arts. So any art form whereby you illustrate, express on a substance or a canvas constitute what we term as visual art.
But from what you explained, there seems to be a difference in what I know that you do and visual art. I don't get that connection, because that is not physical necessarily. It's not something we can touch. What's the relationship there? I specialize in cartooning, illustration, and both 2D and 3D animation. This is where all come together. See, it's a progression. You start out expressing on paper, that what we call 2D, two-dimensional artwork. It could be on paper, it could be paintings, either on canvas or whatever. But over time, we had aspects like interior design. Interior design comes under what we call crafts. Here's what I was trying to explain earlier. Aspect of arts, that constitute crafts like pottery, weave making, and the likes were not under the same umbrella pre-20th century. And I said the reason is because they were termed laborious work. That is, they had to do with some kind of manual labor.
Let me put it that way. So artists of the time, of that period, consider that as something distant from what they do because of the prestige and the glamour that is associated with studio practice like painting and drawing at that time. So what I do is I illustrate. I'm an illustrator primarily.
But you don't use pen. You don't use it's not on paper. It's digital.
Yes, yes. Here I get you now. I started out on paper. See, it's the same expression. The digital is something I will get to eventually. The digital is another tool that is meant to help do your work. The digital is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. I am expressing, but digital came in when there's a need to employ the use of computer in the art, in the practice of art. I'm going to get there eventually, because there's a way technology and industrialization has come to disrupt the practice of art as we have it today. Let me quickly get into the. You see, let's take a basic example like sign writing. When I learned sign writing from the best. Sign writing has to do with text, to to display the name of a business or to notify an event, say a banner. Sign writing was the technique we used to make banners back in the day. And like I said earlier, when I learned it from the best. But look at sign writing in a year like 1989, and the 80s, and sign writing today. People still make banners today, but the approach to sign writing today isn't. The approach to banners today isn't sign writing. People print banners today. Like when I came into the studio this morning, I saw what we call the roll-up banner out in the lobby. It was printed. Back in the day, the approach towards making that same thing would be sign writing.
So that's just exactly what happened to art.
Exactly.
It shifted. What would you say is responsible for that shift? That people went from that physical to the printing digital art?
And thank you very much for that question. Technology and industrialization came in to disrupt the practice of art. And whether we like it or not, I was going to get there eventually, that as an artist, one of the ways you expand your channel, one of the ways you broaden your practice, one of the ways you make money is to embrace technology when it comes. Technological disruption is the inevitable. As an artist, I do not close my eyes when I see technological trends are advancing and evolving. I do not turn my eyes away, because whether I like it or not, technology will come in to disrupt what I do. You see, technology happens to all of us, whether we like it or not. That's exactly what has happened. Now, to art.
So, how does drawing something digitally, maybe illustrating something, how does it translate to making money? How do you make money from it?
Thank you very much. Here is how I make money from. Okay, let's start with drawings. You could start out making a piece and taking it onto your social media. Apart from conventional social media platforms, we have specialized social media platforms for different practices. Same way we have specialized social media platforms for artists that has that's specially tooled towards the display, marketing, and payment systems for artwork. We have social platforms for that. They are more or less art marketing platforms than social media platforms, if you permit me to use that term.
Before you go on, there's even something I still don't get yet.
Let me.
There are different types of that digital art that you do. What are some of those types? I know from some of the pictures that I saw something like animation. And what else do you do with that art?
Thank you very much. Because once technology came in, it made a lot of art practices. Let me say different areas of specialization within our art space accessible via the personal computer. It is the personal computer revolution that brought a lot of things that would have needed to branch out and go and learn under different settings. That brought, it brings all these technologies together on the same platform. For example, there's a digital art suite where you could draw, color, and if you wish to take it further, move graphically, motion graphics, animate properly, edit videos, add special effects, composite, and publish. There's a suite that does all of those. Back in the day, you needed to be involved in some, with some media house to even get close to where each of these things it's done. But today we have all those things available via the personal computer. Now, of the different aspects you are asking about, there is 2D drawing, illustration. There's a software that handles that. Then from there, we would progress to coloring. There's a different software that does that. Then if you wish to add motion, there's a software that applies motion to static drawings. Then if you want to now publish via whatever medium we wish, there's a software for video editing and compositing and the likes. So animation, for example, can be classified into two. There is two-dimensional animation where we are working in 2 dimensions, and there is 3D animation whereby there's a third factor involved. That is, we are talking in terms of length, breadth, and depth. So where we have drawing and painting as technique for 2D, we have modeling, lighting, and composition for 3D.
How would you rate the acceptability and percentage of this type of artwork among the artistic network? Is it that those that still go into the actual painting, the poetry, and all those examples,
traditional techniques,
do they not view digital art and like you do they not view it like it's taking the easy way out? You just get your computer to do everything rather than actually going to paint it. How has it been accepted in the artistic community?
Very, very good question. Here is what has happened. Perception. There was a way people perceived these technologies when they were coming in. But like we've experienced, like every technology that comes in, there is a period of perception, either wrongly or either wrong perception or right perception. Then there's the period where we do not have a choice, then we embrace, we succumb. I don't want to come to the word embrace yet. Here is an example. There's a way we perceived the smartphone when the technology first came into this part of the world. There were a lot of reactions then. Some thought it a necessity. Some thought it something they would eventually acquire, at their convenience. Thank you, leisure. But we have all come to realize today that it's an essential part of living in this part of in this century we are, in these times we are in. So that is exactly what has happened within the art space and technology. When these technologies first came in, we were skeptical about what they could do. Then as they came in, as we don't, one of the causes of those perceptions, or one of the things those perceptions, one of the things that aroused those perceptions then was the alien nature of those technologies and the need for the person who wants to practice with them to go through some kind of training. You get, especially when you're talking about software. You know, the computer is the only tool created by man that is not fixed in, because even standard art practitioners all over the world have come to understand understand and experience the convenience.
This is go on to that art.
Exactly.
Of which digital art has been able to cut away.
Exactly.
So more affordable to a wider range of people.
I was going to get to that. You know, I said technology and industrialization has come in to disrupt art, and they have come in to stay. For example, in old practice, an artist would, for example, sculpt a piece of, maybe a statuette or a piece of, we call it.
Has it been able to bridge that gap that time?
Oh, okay. Yes, it has been able to bridge that gap.
So it's more affordable, it's
more
cheaper.
Affordable, yes, because of mass production technology. We now have piece of painting being mass produced, made available for the populace. We now have, instead of making one piece of sculpture, for example, and waiting for the market, you can actually create a mold and mass produce that same piece and sell it out as souvenirs. The word I was looking for. Souvenirs.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have been talking with Ayode Abobari. He is a visual artist. He has told you